people.
Right, Senator. I was wondering why you're using the word sing, because that has been used by people who are
It is popular for some people to say that statement.
Yeah, but you're using it.
Singing, psychopathy, they name them.
It's okay, Senator. Let's.
Very good afternoon and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for your greatest support. Now, fellow Kenyans, before I get into our discussion or what I want to talk about, let me give you this briefing that I lost one of my family members. She was sick, and then we took her to Kiambu hospital, and then due to the doctors' strike, nobody could take care of her. And then she was brought back home. She has been receiving some treatment at home. And then, but it was quite unfortunate that angeweza kukaa sana. So she passed on juzi. That is on Saturday around midday. I think for those who've been watching the videos, I told you that I just received a shocking news that someone who was very much dear to me passed. So she passed on, and then was taken. We decided to take her to City Mortuary, but then we were planning to transfer her home so that at least aenda kae mortuary nyumbani, because a lot of complications transferring the body from home to Shago for the burial. It's a bit hectic, so we've been working on how she can be transferred kwa mortuary nyumbani, at least akae huko as we prepare for what next. So right now I just talked to one of my brothers, and he has told me that they are on their way. So that is it. I think after wamefika nyumbani, that is now where we'll get clear information, and I think I'll let you know, guys. I'll let you know what next to be done, and I believe that you're going to help me. You're going to support me, guys. Anyway, that is what I have. That is what is in my family, and you know, some of the things huwezi ukakwepa. Kitu kama kifo, it's something that comes and you can't know how it has landed in you. So let us get into our discussion, fellow Kenyans. Before getting deeper into that, let me just quickly remind you that if at all you're meeting for the first time, please don't forget to click the subscribe button. You can as well like, share, drop me a comment at the comment section, tell me what you think and where you are watching this video from. Now, today in the morning, during the daybreak, Sam Gituko had got 4 guests. I had got Francis Mwangangi, Nelson Havi, that is the former LSK president. He had got Ngunjiri, that is the former MP of Nyeri, and also Hilary Sigei. Now, I really don't know why these people, these people who are supporting William Ruto think that this government belongs to them, and anything that the president does, everybody should adhere to it. Like, we should always follow what the president is saying, or we should always take what the president is saying positively. I didn't know. Sijui kwa nini, sijui nani aliambia watu kwamba sisi kama wananchi lazima tu tufanye ile mambo ambayo wanayataka, kwa sababu ati tusipofanya hakuna maendeleo, hakuna 1 2 3. Are you seeing where the problem is coming from? That is now where the problem normally lies. That we normally have, like, when they tell us something, when they say something, they feel like now that is what we need to do, or that is the direction that we all need to follow. I want us to listen to something here that is being said by Senator Hilary Sigei. Hilary Sigei is trying to tell us that Ruto was given a platform by former President Moi to become a leader, and has now come together with Gideon Moi to take Kenya to the next level. So I have a question. But before that question, let us listen to this guy, and then I ask you this question.
The president says in his mother tongue that Moi protected him. Why wouldn't he protect Gideon? Why would anyone need protection?
Sam, I didn't know you understand Kalenjin. I'm happy that you could pick up
those words. Wrong.
No. Actually, what he said is that he was, I believe, building a foundation to tell the delegates who were present the basis upon which he went out to Gideon and told them it's time for us to come together and take Kenya to the next level. And in the course of that, then he actually spoke at length in the local dialect, where he ran the people whom he was talking to through stages of his leadership, including the fact that he was not such a strong personality until the time he got into the government of former retired President Mouthy, the late. And that is, he was given a platform as a leader to get to where he is, and now says, what then stops me? Because what Mouthy had as president, he used that platform to facilitate me also to progress. What stops me from using the same platform to help Gideon to the next level?
So in other words...
Sorry?
In other words, he says, if Mouthy protected me, what will stop me from
No. He didn't say he protected me. He didn't say that is not the right translation. He didn't say he protected Mouthy. He said Mouthy assisted me to be where I am because he was holding the position of leadership of the president. And what stops me from doing the same thing to Gideon? And now qualifies and say it is not about individual, it's not about the region.
So what would he do for Gideon?
Well, I don't know, but from where I sit, Gideon doesn't need to be done for anything other than to be told, this is where my vision for the country is, my brother. This is where we ought to be as a country. 2050, first world. This is where we can be if we come together as KANU and you join the broad-based government. And this is what Kenya will be if we come together as one. So I believe that was the message.
If there was no by-election in Baringo for Senate, would this meeting have happened?
Yes, because the conversation had been going on even before the by-election came in. Yes.
Okay.
You know, these guys, what I've realized is that our watu wanatupimaga sana. They normally look at us and they are like, no, let us just play with the minds of these Kenyans. So Sam is asking a very critical question here. That now, suppose there was no by-election in Baringo County. It means that William Ruto, together with Gideon Mouthy, could have not come together to think of talk about the issue of the broad-based government. And Hilary Sigei is talking about the Vision 2050. So in other words, these guys, and imagine yesterday, for those not to watch the video that I've just done before this, I did that video yesterday night. William Ruto told us that he engaged with the Gideon Mouthy, he engaged with the Uhuru Kenyatta, and also with Raila Odinga, the dynasty. And remember, he's the person that was talking about this issue of the dynasty and the hustler back in 2022. And by then, he was the chief of the hustle nation. Uhuru Kenyatta was the chief of the dynasty. So right now, ameleta wale dynasties, izile familia kubwa, the three big families together. Now, I don't know what they're trying to form. I don't know what they're going to form to make sure that Kenya is drained in the near future. Because coming together for these people, huwezi ukaniambia that these people have come together to make sure that Kenya is running. No. Hawa watu wote ukijaribu kuangalia, hawa watu wote they are just after the retirement benefits. Mtu kama Raila Odinga, there's nothing that Raila Odinga can do to this country right now. Let us just tuseme tu kweli. I know this one might sound somehow harsh, especially kwa supporters for Raila, but let me just say the truth. There is nothing as we speak right now. Yes, amesaidia Kenya, amesaidia sana the devolution and all that. He has brought a lot of change, you know, changing the constitution, freedom, everything. He has done so much for this country. But up to this point, at 82 years, there is nothing that Raila Odinga can do. There is nothing constructive. Let me put it that way. There is nothing constructive that Raila Odinga can do. What can be done right now? What Raila can do if Raila really wants to help Kenya? Achague aangalie vijana watu kama kina Babu Owino, watu kama kina Sifuna, and then let him give them direction. Let him tell them that you boys, you are now the leaders of tomorrow. Babu Owino will be the Raila of tomorrow. Sifuna will be Raila of tomorrow. So what I want you to do 1, 2, 3 things to make sure that our legacy is maintained. If you still want ODM to be strong, those are the kind of people that are supposed to stand in the gap. Who is it that can stand in the gap right now when Raila Odinga is not there? Because as we speak, there is nothing that Raila Odinga can do. There is nothing politically that Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta can do. Uhuru Kenyatta is no longer a politician in Kenya. Yes, he was, but he's a retired president. So coming back to Kenyan politics again, it looks like yani ni kama ni picha ingine yenye I find, because from my understanding, I've never seen any politician, any retired president in Africa, leave alone in Kenya, in Africa, or in fact not even in the world. Look at people like Barack Obama. Barack Obama, they normally just speak because wakipewa nafasi waongee, they just talk about their lives and everything, how it was. But you've never heard them standing in the podium and talking about the sitting government. You know, so that is why I'm saying that Uhuru Kenyatta, right now Uhuru Kenyatta shouldn't even talk about Kenyan politics. That is why I do say that it's normally good wherever you are. It's normally good to train people, make people like right now watu ambao wanapaswa kuongea na watu kama Jeremiah Kioni. And people like Jeremiah Kioni, there is nothing constructive that they can say. What direction can people like Jeremiah Kioni give? That is the question. Are they in a position to give good direction? If they are not in a position to give good direction, then that is how the issue of Jubilee is going to die. Yes, wanajaribu kuinua people like Pauline Njoroge are there. Hao ndio watu ambao sasa hivi wanapaswa kuongea kuhusu Jubilee Party. Suppose Uhuru Kenyatta played his cards right. Now Gideon Moi, kama kungekuwa na hii by election ya Baringo, do you think Gideon Moi na William Ruto wangetafutana? Because the enmity that has been there imekuwa hapo for a really long time. What really happened when Moi was sick? And William Ruto went to visit Moi. Who can remember? If you can remember that, tell me in the comment section. Who can really remember what happened when Moi was sick? And then this same William Ruto went to visit him. And then what happened when Raila Odinga went to visit him? Those are two different people. Ruto and Moi from the same tribe. Raila Odinga is coming from different tribe. But then when William Ruto went, what happened? So that one shows you that this Kenya has been led. These guys have been having this mentality and this motion that this country must only be led by three families: the Odingas, the Kenyattas, and the Mois. So huyu Ruto anakuja tu hapa. That is why unaona anawatafuta, anasema kwamba engage with them, because he knows very well that he can't completely survive without these families. So what would happen if we Kenyans decide to do away with these families? You want to tell me that Kenya will not run? Of course Kenya must run, and things must move on. The reason why we are saying that Kenya is not moving on is because we are giving these people platforms. Tunajaribu kuonesha kwamba you know, your fathers are the people that fought for the independence. So we can't do anything without your support. I think that should end. I want us to listen to him, to the same Sigei, saying something once again. Listen to this.
The president's call for first world Kenya in 2055, 2050 is not an individual. It's a desire that every other person would want to get. We've been given examples all through, but of course it's given that we live by hope. And that hope is what gives us going. If, for instance, I wasn't hopeful that I would be alive this morning, I would not have confirmed that I would come to the show and share this conversation we're having.
Okay.
What is it?
You're saying that he's reaching out for the peaceful status for proper governance. So before meeting Gideon, we didn't have peace, or what are you saying?
No, it is a continuous process. In the headline actually here given, the president said, I met Raila, I've met Uhuru, I've met Gideon. It didn't start with saying we were not okay. But of course, you know the status that the country was, for example, prior to the broad-based government, when we had now Raila coming on board. In terms of the ability to have a peaceful governance on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, that was the status we were in. But I'm not saying before Gideon we were not. We were very peaceful. It is part of a continuous engagement to have everyone on board for purposes of his governance.
So with Gideon on board,
yes.
I think it was Thursday, Friday last week, to what end?
Some, or even those willing to join, recall what the DG said, that we are not boarding. Well, that is their choice. And in fact, in the presidency of William Ruto, he's actually said that it's good to have a robust opposition. Remember, Sam, our constitution, the constitution of Kenya, because actually that's what I want to correct, it does not make reference to opposition, it makes reference to the minority and the majority. We will always have people who've got diverse opinion about the government of the day. And it is good to have them because they help the government to be checked. They help to balance on areas they are not performing. They help to point out, especially in a democratic state like Kenya, where there is a lot of freedom to express yourself. There is a lot of independence when it comes to some institutions, for instance, the courts. We are also equally free to criticize and call out. So we would always want to have that freedom. We'll always want to have the minority. We do not want to have everybody in one basket where everybody is a yes pass.
Gideon is free to criticize now?
Of course.
Okay.
Even those of us who are in government, by the way, do not just sing every other day. We also say it when it's not working. And when it's not working, we say it's working.
You don't sing every other day. What is that?
What I'm saying is that it is not that when you're in government, you don't point out when the government is not doing what it's supposed to do for the people.
Right, Senator. I was wondering why you're using the word sing, because that has been used by people who are anti...
It is popular for some people to say that statement.
Yeah, but you're using it.
Singing, psychopathy, they name them.
It's okay, Senator.
I really don't know. So, in short, Sigei is trying to tell us that our constitution, yes, of course, our constitution does not talk about opposition. It talks about the majority and the minority. So let me ask this. I just want to ask you this question. If our constitution only talks about the majority and the minority, so this government was formed, let me just say this, that it was formed. So where is Gideon Moi? So is Gideon Moi in the minority or the majority? Where Uhuru Kenyatta? Because I'm just basing my statement on I'm just measuring based on the statement that was made by William Ruto that he engaged with these three guys. So Raila Odinga is the chief who has been the opposition for a very long time. So it means that he has not been the opposition, he has been the minority. So if he has been the minority, why take him to the government? Why can't you just leave him where he's supposed to be? You know, this issue of these guys coming, changing things in this country, that is where now we are messing up. That is where now the problem is coming from. You know, we keep on changing things. We keep on doing things that are not necessary. Things that Kenyans don't need. You know, this engagement, and in fact, William Ruto is talking about engagement. And they've been having conversation. So for how long? 3 good years, 3 years down the line, you're still having conversation. You've not done anything constructive. You're just talking about 2027. Just about working on how you can get a 2-term. Because based on my own understanding, fellow Kenyans, by William Ruto bringing these people together, it means that there is something that is planning to do with this guy. He wants these guys to support him or to help him to 2032. Talking about Vision 24. Imagine, Mwai Kibaki came with the issue of Vision 2030. I want us to look at this thing this way. Is there anything constructive that by 2030 we are going to achieve? That, okay, Vision 2030, yes. Everything, every vision, everything that Mwai Kibaki had in mind that is supposed to be done in Kenya, do you really think it's going to be done? A simple question. Because, you know, when you talk about this, sometimes, you know, when we talk about these things, it's like, oh, you're against the government, you're against blah, blah, blah. A lot of issues, those who are in government tells us that, oh, you, the members of the fourth state, you are normally attacking the government without considering what the government has done. What is it that the government has done? That we should, you know, if the opposition cannot do what they're supposed to do, criticizing the government, if the current opposition cannot do, because to be sincere, what I've realized is that, yes, we have those who are in opposition, Rigathi Gachagua, Kalonzo Musyoka, Eugene Wamalwa, Martha Karua, all those, JB Muturi. Yes, they've declared that they're the opposition. What is the role of the opposition in the government? To put pressure on the government so that things that they've not done, they should do. But trying to look at the way these other team is doing, they're just planning on how they can take William Ruto out of power. In fact, they're not even pushing the agenda of the developments. That is the one thing I've realized. These guys are not pushing any agenda for the development. They're just like, oh, lazima ende nyumbani, lazima ende nyumbani, lazima ende nyumbani. So should we talk about lazima ende nyumbani without you telling us? Now we are putting pressure on the government to do this, because at the end of the day, politicians are just the same. Hata wenye wanasema lazima ende nyumbani wakikuja, they just do the same thing, and another group will emerge. All of us wants William Ruto to go home. We don't have any position that can put pressure on the government, but because in fact hata kuweka pressure kwa hiyo government yenyewe hakuna pressure hiyo, hakuna. They don't even care. They completely don't care about that pressure. So ukikuja naanza kuwaambia mambo na pressure mara mambo na nini, I don't think if it's going to add any sense. I want us to listen to what Nelson Harvey said as we wind up.
Nelson, do you believe that talking to Gideon Moi takes us to first world?
How does any engagement with Gideon Moi improve the education problem in Kenya? How does any engagement with Gideon Moi improve the almost collapsed healthcare system in Kenya? How does engagement with Gideon Moi guarantee employment to about 15 million Kenyan youth who do not have employment? You see, as a matter of fact, President William Samoei Ruto has the constitutional right to associate with whosoever he wants to associate with. Mm. But there is a failure of comprehension of his responsibility as head of state and the President of the Republic of Kenya. His engagements are intended to be purposeful for the benefit of the people of Kenya. To that extent, therefore, there can be legitimacy if these engagements are to be faulted. And indeed, they have to be faulted. But fundamentally, the question is he engaging them on whose cost? Mm-hmm. At his own cost or at our cost, as the Deputy Governor said? If he's engaging them at his own personal cost, we have no problem. But if he's engaging them at the cost of Kenyans, then there is a fundamental problem, and we take profound umbrage with it.
How would we know at whose cost?
Well, recent events have indicated who bears the cost of these enterprises. The Auditor General the other day indicated how much is spent on invitation cards, how much is spent on hosting these people at State House. And when you see the Kenya Air Force chopper flying to Kabrak, it cannot be at his personal cost. It doesn't require any further investigation.
I don't know what you are going to say about that. Harvey has a very good point here, by the way. Nelson Harvey has a very, very good point. And in fact, the questions that he's asking, I would also want to ask you. What is William Ruto engagement with Uhuru Kenyatta, Raila Odinga, and Gideon Moi got to do with the unemployment in Kenya? What does the engagement with these guys, bringing Gideon Moi to power or to his government, got to do with the healthcare in this country? What is the engagement got to do with the education, with the healthcare, unemployment, and development? What is the engagement has to do with all these things? Huh? You know, these guys, I've told you that these guys, they are only after their own personal gain. Hakuna kitu hapa ati mara sasa tumekuja pamoja, we are going to do there's nothing. And there is no change. If we really expect that there is change that is going to happen in this country, then I don't think we are in the right track. Kusema kweli kabisa hakuna kitu ambacho, hakuna tofauti ambayo hao watu wanaenda kufanya Kenya. Right now, they are coming together as the dynasty, as good communities, or as good families as they are, friendly family as they are, so that they can suck the milk. Imagine hata ile kidogo yenye tuko nayo sasa hivi kinaenda kuchukuliwa. Si wanakuja pamoja, and them coming together doesn't mean that sasa hakuna kitu itafanyika. Let us meet in the next video if it's possible, fellow Kenyans, but please don't forget to tell me what you think at the comment section. Thank you guys.